Here we have the Excel file, Disparate Impact Analysis. The modules in this file can actually be exported and put into whichever Excel file you'd like to use. The only stipulation is that all the data has to be in a tab called Sheet 1. So here we'll open the file and it'll look like this. Once open, you can delete this image. And right now, it's populated with a sample data set. And just going through the column, it's going to be employee ID, the decision for reduction. So true equals reduction, false equals not. Employee first name, last name, whether the employee is Hispanic, whether the employee is a minority, whether the employee is female, age over 40, disabled, veteran, employee's title, employee's department, employee group, decision maker ID, decision maker first name, last name, whether the employee is Asian, Black or African American, American Indian or Alaskan Native, Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, and 2 or more races. So there's comments in each of the header boxes that explain what the columns are for, what kind of data needs to be input in the columns. Not all columns need data. I could very easily delete the data in column title and column department, as well as group, DM, first name, last name, and ID, and still have everything work just fine. In that case, the only layer of analysis will be by the entire population. So, running the actual analysis, it's a matter of going to your macro settings and then running a macro called DIA. When you run, the Excel file will automatically hide and you'll get a progress indicator while the process is running. Alright, success. Once that's done, it'll ask you to save the file, and we're gonna go with test 1, save. Okay, when you save the file automatically opens and it closes the initial file that you started working from without any changes. This kind of ensures that the file integrity, that it won't be corrupted by anything that's added, etc. The analysis is broken out into 2 different components. So here we have the entire overall population. So going through category by category, the major demographic categories we have age over 40, female, disabled, minority, and veteran. So here, for this population, 208 fit the category pool, meaning that 208 of the employees are age over 40. 18 fit the non-category pool, meaning that 18 of the employees are age under 40. Category proposed RIF means that 49 employees, in this case, of the 208 are being proposed as a reduction. And on the flip side, 2 employees out of the 18 employees under 18 are being proposed for reduction. Here we have minority count 172. You might notice when you're running this on your own that this count is off by 2, and the reason for that is in the data set there are 2 employees with unknown minority values, which can happen if the employee doesn't self-ID and there is no way to get a visual identification of the employee's race and ethnicity. We're going to go straight into this row right here. So for this overall population, we are seeing adverse impact for females, or statistical adverse impact. In this case, adverse impact is indicated by the 80% rule. So whether the proportions of selections between the category pool and non-category pool are 80%, along with a difference of 1, at least 1. and a standard deviation of 2.0. So if these two criteria are met, column K will have an X, meaning that there's a statistical showing of adverse impact for that particular category. When that happens, the macro will automatically generate a second tab. In this case, it's going to be called AI All Considered. AI obviously stands for adverse impact. And it just lists out all the employees that have been selected for RIF and that also fit the category. So in this case, we have 23 female employees who may be adversely impacted by these decisions. Moving on to the Decision Maker tab. The Decision Maker tab lists out the decision maker. So these are the managers that made the employment decisions for a subset of employees or the whole population, depending on the individual processes at work. So we'll see here, Davy Jones has a population of 5. So if you add together the category pool and non-category pool, you'll get an entire total count for that subpopulation. Of those 5 individuals in that pool, one person is being selected for RIF. So that person, if we kind of look through all the category values here, is over age 40, is female, is not disabled, is not a minority, and is not a veteran. So for Mr. Jones's group, we are also hitting adverse impact for females with a standard deviation of 2.24, which isn't too high. So 2 is the base minimum. The higher you go in terms of the standard deviation number, the greater certainty that there is something that is causing the expected and the actual numbers to be different. We go down further. Agent Smith here also is showing adverse impact, but this time for disabled employees in his pool. And going down even further, Darth Vader is showing adverse impact as well for females. So because there's adverse impact indicated, as I stated, the tool will generate a second tab. In this case, it's going to be called AI Decision Maker. And what this tab shows is a breakout of all the employees possibly impacted, broken out by the decision maker that they were analyzed under, as well as their category and their ID, first name and last name. So first name and last name fields are optional. If you choose not to fill those in, those columns will be automatically removed in the analysis output. Same thing goes for the decision maker, first name and last name fields. But obviously it's easier for somebody to read who's being affected and under whom in this case. So we'll see that in these two pools, there's only one individual being selected for RIF that fit that particular category. For Darth Vader's pool, there are 5 email employees that may be adversely impacted. Now, if Darth Vader also hit adverse impact for a different category, there would be a line break and then another population that fit those criteria. Moving on to the analysis by job title. So here we see that there is no AI by job title tab, so we would expect that this column here would have no X's in it. And as we scroll down, we see that it's true. In this case, some of the categories for some of the job titles show adverse impact when considering only the 80% rule, but when applying to standard deviations, it does not. Obviously, 2 standard deviations is more of rigorous statistical test than simply just comparing the proportions of selection. Moving on to department, this particular population has employees that roll up to 3 different departments: sales, research and development, and human resources. In this case, the sales department is showing adverse impact for females. in which case, as with the other layers of analysis, there will be an AI tab created. So when we go into the AI tab, it pulls out all of the employees within that category within the sales department. Moving on to minority subcategories. So in this tab, we'll see essentially the same name as the first set of tabs, but with min sub at the end. Min sub standing for minority subcategory. And the minority subcategories we're going to test for or analyze is Asian, American Indian or Alaskan Native, Black or African American, Hispanic, Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, and then 2 or more races. You should keep in note that minority subcategories are not compared against the opposite, as might be the case for the major categories, meaning for the female category, we're comparing female employees against male employees, bring the total number to the entire population. In this case, the non-category pool is simply the non-minorities in the population. So if you add these two numbers together, you are not going to get the total for the whole pool. All you'll get is the count of employees that are either non-minority or Asian or American Indian, etc. So we will see here that there is no adverse impact shown. So we'll skip this particular tab for now. And as will be expected, no AI tab exists for that particular analysis layer. If we go by decision maker in sub, we'll see that there is an AI tab that's been developed, and we see adverse impact in, well, what do you know? It's Mr. Darth Vader again, and he is showing adverse impact for Black or African American employees in this pool. In this case, there are 5 Black or African American employees in this pool, 37 non-minorities. Of the 5, Darth Vader has elected to term 3 of those employees, and of the 37, he has elected to term 4. And we'll see that the standard deviation number is higher than we've seen before, but when you look at the numbers themselves, you can definitely see there's something out of place, even without the statistical analysis. So when we come to the AI Decision Maker tab, we'll see Darth Vader's name again, the category, and all the employees that fit that category in this particular population. Moving to the job title, minority subcategory tab, shows no AI, so we'll skip that. By department, also no AI. So that's the entire data set. Like I stated, the AI tab will only be generated if there is adverse impact indicated for that particular analysis layer. At the end of the spreadsheet, the final tab is the actual data set that you worked with to create this analysis. And you'll see here the unknown minority, or one of them, that value that I talked about earlier. And I should mention again that in case there's any question on what needs to go into these columns, there are comments at the top header indicating what should go in. And just as a little bit of additional safety, I have created data validation rules for some of the fields in this tab. So for minority, as you can see, you can only select from true, false, or unknown. Now, this kind of security is very limited because you could just ignore Excel's warning messages and put in something that that will be accepted. So keep that in mind. The macro only checks for true and false values. So if there's something not true and false in there, it'll just get skipped over. Now that might be all well and fine in terms of generating an analysis output, but that would mean the numbers would be thrown